Mike, firstly, just an update on who's available, who's not available. Someone said to me after the game that Trey Hume looked like he might have been struggling with his knee through the second half. I don't know if there was anything in that.
Yeah. Trey picked up a little bit of a knock in the game. He got through it. Sorry. He got through it. So there's one or two that we're having to manage a little bit. So we'll see how they react. There's obviously still another 24 hours till the game, and 24 hours can be a lifesaver for someone like myself when you're relying on certain players. So we'll see how they react in the morning. But there were one or two that obviously left the game slightly worse for wear, should we say?
Rusyn as well, what's the situation with him at the moment? Is he close?
No, he's not close. No. He was out in the grass running today, but he's not with the group. So he's still going to be a couple of weeks. He'll be touch and go whether he's probably back for the Sheffield Wednesday game.
To Leeds then, I think, I'm not sure what ran through your mind when you looked at the results on Saturday afternoon and seeing that Leeds had lost to Coventry. Probably not the result you anticipated, probably not the result that you really wanted.
The Championship is a brutal and relentless league, and there's so many results every week. You could check the results on a Saturday every week, and there would always be one or two results that everyone kind of would be a little bit of an eyebrow raiser. So that being said, I think Coventry are a really, really good team, so the result doesn't surprise me completely. I do think Leeds are one of the best, if not the best team in the league, and I said that when we played them previously, earlier in the season. And look, you can read into they lost the last game, they won the last game. The reality is they're a really, really good team. So regardless of previous results, whether they'd won 5 on the bounce or lost 5 on the bounce, the reality is the players they put on the pitch are Premier League quality. So regardless of the previous game, we know we're going to have to, all of us, whoever starts the game, has to be right at it. They're going to have to perform 100% to give us an opportunity to have a successful result.
Managers often say it's difficult to come to the Stadium of Light because of the atmosphere and so on. But actually, Ellen Road now is a fortress for Leeds, isn't it? I mean, they've not lost that this season. 16 wins and 4 draws. I mean, that is very, very strong performance.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure the atmosphere helps that. But as I go back to my previous point, they've got Premier League quality. So they're the type of figures, and I mean this respectfully, they're the type of figures you would expect for when you look at their squad and you look at their bench and you look at the players they don't have available. They're the type of figures that you would expect. And again, I mean that respectfully. To Leeds United, but look, it's going to be a tough game. Like I say, probably every press conference, and you're bored of me saying this. There's no easy games in this league. We're going to have to go there and be 100% in terms of every single player on the pitch is going to have to perform to the best of their ability. If we do that, we've got some quality in the team as well that can hurt them. So, and they'll be aware of that. They'll be aware of that in particular from the previous fixture. So, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know whether it's an arrogance or an ego thing, but these are the type of games that I relish. Going out in stepping out in front of 30,000+ at Ellen Road. There's not many people that can say that. And my mindset is obviously to go and try and win the game, regardless of their record there.
Is it fair to say for you it's a free hit? I mean, you haven't got the pressure on your shoulders as a club that Leeds have at the moment in this, what is now obviously a 3-horse race for the top 2 places.
No, not really. I can understand why that would be probably the narrative, but from my perspective as a young coach, I have everything to lose in terms of my reputation. We have young players that obviously want to propel this football club to where we feel it needs to be. So from my perspective, it's not a free hit, it's an opportunity to see where we're at individually and collectively. So I don't see it as a free hit whatsoever. And like I said, these are the type of games that we should all be looking at and say these are the games we want to play in every single week. This is the level we want to get to, and this is the level we want to perform at every single week. So I don't see it as a free hit, no.
And when you look back at that game against Leeds at the stadium, of the games that you've been in charge, is that your benchmark? Is that the one that you're proudest of, that win, that victory that night?
Maybe. Listen, I think the result, because of the result's a positive result, it obviously it gets amplified, the performance. But if you look at the second half against Leicester, we had the second youngest team in EFL history, and Leicester didn't have a shot on goal in the second half. So I'm proud of pockets of, whether it's my first time in charge or second time in charge. I'm proud of a lot of pockets of things that have happened. Obviously, there's things there where the kind of dust settles, I'll need to reflect on and make sure, next time, whether it be here or someone else, that I improve upon certain things. And I think I've shown that from my first spell to my second spell, that I am a very reflective person, and I'm very critical of myself. So yeah, to a degree. I've watched that game back in the last couple of weeks, obviously knowing that this game was coming up, and I thought there was some stuff in the game we did really well at. I thought there was some stuff in the game I wasn't happy with, and that's the type of person I am. I'm very critical of myself, first and foremost. So, like I said, I think there's pockets of a lot of the games that I quite like. So that isn't one really that I jump to and go, yeah, that was my proudest moment.
Mike, with this Leeds game, they're Premier League club recently. They could very well be a Premier League club next season. So is this a chance to measure yourselves against that, to show that you can compete with a team of this standard? Yeah,
definitely. And like I said, I don't know whether it's an arrogance or an ego. I think I'm a quite humble guy, but these are the type of games where I kind of fancy ourselves and back ourselves a little bit. I think they are a Premier League team in waiting, having watched a lot of their games, obviously in preparation for this. I like a lot about their team, and I think they've got a lot of quality, whoever they pick, because the reality is they could make 3 or 4 changes and still have, in my opinion, Premier League quality. So I think they're a Premier League team in waiting, my personal opinion. But yeah, like I always said, like, these type of games I relish, and I think the players are relishing these types of games. As I said, I don't think it's a game where it's a free hit. I don't think it's a free hit. I think it's a real opportunity for all of us to showcase where we're at, and how much more we need to do to get to where we want to be.
I think from the outside, it kind of feels like Sunderland's season's pretty much done. Does it feel like that for you, for the players?
No, not at all. Not for me personally. I've got 5 games. Not for me personally. I think the players, we are demanding every day improvements in certain areas. We're tweaking 1 or 2 things. They've got to execute those things. If they don't execute those things internally, obviously there will be criticism of them. So internally, we've got a long-term ambition, obviously, to be in the Premier League. And if we decide, the last 5 games are what they are, we're not going to get to where we want to get to. So from my perspective, that's definitely not the case, and I think for me and all the staff, we have to almost kind of double down on the standards and the beliefs and the way we work, because I think when you start having a mindset the last 5 games are a free hit, we don't deserve to achieve what we want to achieve. So no, that's not the case.
You hear that cliche a lot, don't you? Teams being on the beach, teams who are in the mid-table, not going to go down, not going to go up. How do you stop players from developing that mindset, or is that just not an issue here?
I want to say it's not an issue here, but I think I've always been very honest when I've sat in this position. I think there was maybe an element of that for the Blackburn game, if I'm honest, because like I said, I've never pointed the finger at the group, and that's the first time that I've pointed the finger at the group, and we got a reaction which we all deserved, whether it be people that support the football club, the fans, whether it be the backroom staff that work here. I think everyone deserved a reaction from the game on last Monday. So I do think maybe in that game there could have been an element of that, or I can understand why people would point the finger when you look at the result, but not only the result, the performance. And that was maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for me as the head coach to go, right, okay, like if one or two think that that's the case, then unfortunately they're going to come up against the head coach that won't accept that. And if any of the players, and they've been told this under no uncertain terms, if any of the players feel like they want to start looking at holidays or start getting their flip-flops out, they won't play for me and they won't play for the football club, because this is an unbelievable football club and they should be privileged to wear the Sunderland shirt.
Thank you very much.
Hi, just kind of looking at last weekend, how important was it to kind of get a response of some kind after Blackburn and kind of have a much better performance this weekend?
Look, it was just important in terms of to perform and play well. I thought we played really. I watched it back and I thought we were even better than what I thought we were after the game. You know, we had 20 shots on goal and the chances we created were even better than what I thought they were at the side of the pitch. So I thought the performance was a really positive performance. I think in this industry, you're only as good as your last result and you're only as good as your last performance, and people will only remember your last action. So I think coming away from the game, and listen, I'm the same for that, don't get me wrong, and that's something in my position that head coaches need to be reflective around. I think I came away from the game because the second half from both teams, it just went a little bit flat. I probably didn't give the players as much credit as probably what they deserved. And then prior to that, obviously, the performance on the Monday against Blackburn was so poor, you forget about how good the performance was on Friday. And that's not an excuse. That's the industry that I work in. So look, it was important. It was important. As I've always done, I've never sat here and tried to spin positives. I've never tried to spin a narrative at any point. I've always been really honest and open. There are positives in terms of 3 out of the last 4 games we've conceded. We've had 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games. That being said, the Monday performance was that bad. It doesn't really matter about that. So I'm expecting 5 really, really strong performances. And like I've said previously, the other question, if any of the players feel like they want to start looking at holidays, they're going to come up against a not particularly nice head coach to play for. So we've got to give everything for the next 5 games, because the supporters of this football club deserve nothing less than that.
And kind of obviously looking ahead to Leeds, you do have that win from December. It was obviously one of your games in charge. How much encouragement can that kind of give you and the players, kind of going into a game where you're not big favourites?
It can. It can give you a level of encouragement. I think their team will look slightly different. Our team will look slightly different. It can also be a motivating factor for them, to obviously correct the performance. It can be a motivating factor for us in terms of showing that we can play against them and perform to the level we performed on that evening. Like anything, I'm a supremely confident person in terms of coaching, and my ability to coach and work with a group. And I have very, very strong processes in what I believe. And it hasn't gone as well as I had hoped up till now in terms of results. But what that does do for me, it kind of reaffirms my beliefs. And regardless of the previous performance, the preparation for this game is how I believe we should prepare. The preparation for this game will be no different whether the result previously has been positive or negative. And we'll be going to win the game. Like I always say, we always set up to try and win the game with Sunderland Football Club.
Yeah, and kind of just sort of looking towards the last sort of few final stretch as well, we've kind of mentioned that relegation's not going to happen, promotion's not going to happen. What are you playing for now?
We want to get to the Premier League. That's our ambition. I want to be a part of a football club that wants to get to the Premier League and play in the best league in the world. And if we think, whether staff, backroom staff, people above me, the players that put on the shirts, if we think that we're good enough to kind of not turn up for 5 games or take the foot off the gas, and then next year expect to mount a challenge, then we're incredibly naive and probably stupid. So there is loads of motivation for the last 5 games. There's loads of motivation because the next 5 games can give us a foundation for the next 46.
Thank you.
Mike, despite Leeds being near the top, fighting for promotion, of course, they are where they are. Some of their recent performances in recent weeks have actually left a bit to be desired. I think Daniel Farke has commented this himself. And so with that, are there areas you'll be able to exploit? Because as I said, they've been conceding a few goals at the moment, and even their win against Hull wasn't perhaps the best performance, so surely there's areas where you can look to get at them.
Yeah, there's always areas that we would look to exploit in every team, and they will be the same when they do their analysis on us. They will look at areas that they want to exploit. I think, as I always say, there's no easy games in this league. They will be respectful. I know they will be respectful in terms of the qualities that we possess. But that, when you sit in my position, that unfortunately is the role. You know, I think there has been some games that I've taken. We deserve more than what we've got. You know, I'm sure Daniel's looked at throughout the course of the season. There will be games where he would have felt that they deserve to get more than what they've got, whether that's the games that have happened previously or games that have been earlier in the season. That's football. You know what I mean? Like I've said it loads of times in this position. You can't ride the wave of emotion. You've got to try and be really balanced with your view and your opinion on performances. So I respect the question in terms of maybe their performances haven't been to the level they have done previously, but let's make no mistake about it. You know, they've got quality all over the pitch, so they could perform terribly on Tuesday night and then in one moment have one bit of quality that changes the whole complexity of the game. That's the kind of quality that they have.
It's been mentioned just how good their home record is this season, but on that, if you're able to stay in the game for a long period of time, given the pressure there, and that will certainly unsettle the crowd, that could play into your hands, couldn't it?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And if we score first, that could be a factor. You know, if they score first, do they take the foot off the gas? And you know, psychology's a big thing in football, and they're all the things that we have to manage. But ultimately, we've got to concentrate on Sunderland Football Club. We've got to concentrate on our game plan. We've got to concentrate on what we need to do to execute what we're trying to do. If we do that, we give ourselves opportunity. If we don't do that against a really, really good team, you know, it's going to be a long evening for us. So we've got to be fully focused on what we do first.